Republican lawmakers still trying to make good on 7 years of promises, citing rising costs and dwindling options as urgent reasons to repeal Obamacare. So what is the next step for the GOP after the death of the skinny repeal early Friday morning? Joining me now is Isaac Wright. He's a former executive director of Correct the Record, a pro-Clinton super PAC, and Chris Wilson, a former Ted Cruz campaign pollster and CEO of WPA Intelligence. Chris, I'll start with you. Let's pick up on where Senator Collins left off. She's saying comprehensive is not the way to go. So if that's not the case, what do you think the senator is speaking about?
Well, I think what she's talking about is going back and trying to look at every aspect of Obamacare that has failed. And the reason it failed is because it fails Economics 101. And as Secretary Price pointed out, you have over 30,000 counties that right now only have one insurer. You have 40% increase in costs in states like Iowa. You can only imagine the impact that's going to have on the electorate there. You have 40 counties in America that, as of today, that have no insurer whatsoever. And the number of people that live in those, they just can't get insurance right now off of the exchanges. So the fact is it's failing. And the ability of if the senators don't go back and find an ability, try to address each one of those issues and why it is failing on a case-by-case basis, they're just leaving all those people out in the cold with no ability to have insurance. And so I think doing nothing at this point is not an option. That's where things stand right now. If they continue to allow it to fail, then it's not just going to be Republicans who are going to be punished at the polls, it's also going to be Democrats. But right now, really, the weight falls with Republicans because of the last 7 years of promises that have been made.
And how do you see it? Isaac?
Well, I think that there's some clear fixes that can be made. Democrats have been suggesting that we make necessary improvements to Obamacare for some time. Hopefully, this is the opportunity that Republicans will come to the table and work with Democrats to improve some of these things. Democrats have been throwing out potential solutions. For example, there are something like 40 counties and 30,000 Americans who next year may not have a provider in their county. Democrats have created legislation to say that if that's the case, those people should have the opportunity to get health care through the exact same exchange pools that members of Congress do. Let's pass some of these ideas. Let's work together to improve Obamacare where it needs improvement. That's what Democrats have been trying to do for months now.
Would it help, pardon me, Chris, do you think it would help if lawmakers got more policy input from the president?
Boy, that's a trick question in a couple of different ways. I think it is important that the president is involved in the process because obviously he has the bully pulpit to be able to exercise. And frankly, I would say that I think this president has been more involved in terms of working with members of Congress than President Obama was or President Bush before him. And you've got to give him some level of credit for that. I actually heard from someone who's not a fan of the president.
We're crediting the president. He definitely has been, rolling up the sleeves and calling on the phone and calling lawmakers to his office, trying to get them on board to do something to repeal, maybe replace is off the table at the moment. But I'm asking, and Isaac, I'll toss it over to you, in terms of specifics, could the president lay out more specific items, policy items that perhaps could help lawmakers come up with a bill that that could pass the houses, the House and the Senate, and could also get to his desk and that he would possibly sign into law?
Absolutely. For example, the president promised on the campaign trail to support allowing Medicaid and Medicare to directly negotiate with drug manufacturers drug prices. That's a common sense solution. When Democrats introduced legislation to do that in Congress in January of this year, Republicans killed it and the president backed away from it. That's an example of something that if Republicans would join on, if the president would just follow through on his own words, that we could do to actually attack the problem of some of these health care costs that are causing insurance cost problems.
Chris, President Trump, as you know, threatened to stop reimbursing insurance companies, the ones that waive deductibles and co-pays for low-income customers as required by Obamacare. Is this the right move right now?
Well, I think what it gets to is right now the president is trying to appeal to his base to rise up and push Republican senators and really senators at large. It would be nice to see if you get Republicans and Democrats to come together in the middle to be able to find solutions here. And I really think that's what this is sort of the ability to use that bully pulpit that I just spoke to about a minute ago to try and motivate action, because inaction is not an option. As has already been mentioned a couple of times, you've got too many counties, too many people who are going to be without insurance because of where Obamacare is failing. failing. And so it's really, you can't keep putting Band-Aids on this. So it's a matter of trying to push the Senate to be able to take action and find a solution once and for all, rather than do it through a series of quick fixes. And is that the right way to do it? You know, if it gets in this end result that fixes this, then yeah, I think we can look back later and say that it was the right way to approach it.
Quick response, Isaac. 10 seconds.
President Trump has threatened over and over to sabotage Obamacare to try to throw 20 million Americans off their health care. I hope Republicans and Democrats in Congress will come together to stop that from happening.
Excuse me. Well, okay, guys. Isaac Wright, Chris Wilson. I know what we can't do right now is keep blaming everybody. We got to get something done for the sake of the American people. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.